Okay.
Start.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today I'm talking about healthcare as a basic human right. So, slide please. Did you know that millions of people delay or avoid medical care each year simply because they cannot afford it? Slide. The reason why this matters is because this issue affects not only individuals but entire communities, and anyone can face a medical emergency and struggle with cost. So, imagine like if you're really sick and like the treatment you need exists but you can't afford it. Slide please. So a preview into this is I'll be talking about many individuals cannot afford basic medical services. The lack of access leads to untreated conditions and preventable deaths. And healthcare inequality affects vulnerable populations the most. A quote from the World Health Organization says, "Access to healthcare is considered a fundamental human right in global health discussions." So with me saying many individuals cannot afford basic medical services, so like as in maybe communities and lower poverty or homelessness, they wouldn't be able to afford that and resulting in maybe more deaths and all. With the lack of access maybe in like rural communities, if they don't have like the proper facilities or maybe the facilities they have don't have like everything that the treatments that they need. And the healthcare inequality affects more populations, as in like me talking about maybe it could be separated by different minorities or maybe like ethnic refugees. Slide please. So the causes of this would be with high cost of healthcare insurance, socioeconomic barriers limit access, and healthcare systems often prioritize profit over accessibility. A quote from Clem Benathan says that studies show that healthcare access is influenced by systemic and social factors, especially in underserved communities. So with the high cost of healthcare insurance, like for example, like my dad, he has type 2 diabetes, and usually he can't really afford or he can, but it's like kind of very much a struggle for him to get the medicine he needs. And with my mom as well, she has diabetes, but she has like the type 1 diabetes. And with socioeconomic barriers, with like maybe people that don't have like medical insurance that would cover the medication that they'll need, and it's like obviously prioritizing profit over accessibility, which obviously so people like maybe that can have access to it, they would have better like luxury or like a better treatment for what they need. Slide please. So for the high cost of healthcare, lower income and homelessness people which I talked about, and untreated conditions and preventable deaths. So like, say we can like try to talk about preventable like conditions, but with like maybe something like type 2 diabetes, you can't really prevent that. It's like hereditary. And so with like obviously with if people that suffer the most is like the lower income and homeless people. So they weren't able to have like access to the treatments that they would need. Slide please. And with socioeconomic barriers, with that being said, like as in like a basic human right is kind of like just like what I mean. I talk about like maybe like for housing or for food. I say medical can go into that too for like medical care and attention. So like rural communities, ethnic minorities, or refugees, and then. So with that being a basic human right, it should be like kind of the same as like with everything else with like non-discrimination, equality, access. Slide please. So prioritizing profit, accessibility prevents more deaths and better society. So I say like if we could prevent like more of like these preventable diseases that people get, then we can make it a better world health overall. And if higher income only has access, that means it's limited to only a few people that can have it, because not everybody can have like the healthcare that people can have access to with a better insurance. Slide please. So solutions that I go over is expanding healthcare access. So with increasing affordable healthcare options or affordable insurance options, investing in community health programs and promoting preventative care, and work toward a broader healthcare reform. A quote I have from Sinka says that experts argue that healthcare should be treated as a right rather than a privilege to improve outcomes. Increasing affordable healthcare insurance options, we can do that by obviously if that we increase it by for everybody else that reduce overall costs. Invest in community health programs, like for example, like in other countries like the UK, Canada, they have like a universal healthcare thing. So with that, it can kind of be like kind of overall in the whole country. Promoting preventative care, which is kind of like just if we kind of educate better on just taking care of yourself and making sure that you just with the preventable diseases, not just like people that get sick and we can't control it. And working toward a broader healthcare reform, which is what I was talking about with the other countries. Slide please. So some oppositions and rebuttal I'll go over is people can argue that healthcare is too expensive, but preventative care would reduce long-term costs. And the government involvement lowers quality, but with other systems showing that quality care can still be maintained with the other countries I was talking about, UK and the Canada. An individual should be responsible, but not everyone has equal access to resources, such as like maybe with the different communities. Slide please. So, in conclusion, healthcare shouldn't depend on income, but is a basic human need. Slide please. Any questions?
So you're saying that the government should handle healthcare for basic necessities of health, right?
Yes.
Okay. So in Canada, they have boards where older citizens have to go through a medical board where they recommend if this person should live or not.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that would be a problem in the U.S.?
I think it can be a problem, yeah. I mean, maybe depends on maybe who the family member is, and if they say they'll be ready to go. That does kind of go into something I did research about before, for like if they're ready to pull the plug, because that is something it is talked about. I forgot the exact name, but I could see that would be a problem.
Okay.
Good.
Mm-hmm.